Some of the most frustrating things to deal with when building a new computer is cable management. And anything that comes along that can make that a little bit easier, I am willing to take a look at. So that's why today I'm going to be taking a look at EVGA's Power Link, which is designed to relocate where the power plugs go on your graphics card. And they claim it will make things a whole lot easier when it comes to cable management. Makes them look a whole lot tidy. If you guys are curious, part number on this is 600-PL-2816-LR. What the fuck? The new Define Nano S from Fractal Design supports full-size power supplies, full-length graphics cards, room for a complete custom water loop, and heck, even room for a couple of freeloaders. Click the link in the description for more details. Fractal Josh, not included.
We should order pizza.
That's an interesting part number for something that just relocates the power plugs, but I digress. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with this video. Did I actually want to use them? Do I want to put them in a build? Was I going to use them on the test bed? You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to just turn the camera here. We're going to take it out of the box. We're going to show how it's configurable, because you can configure it. Obviously, there's a lot of different plug configurations on the market. 2x4 pins, 2x6 pins, an 8-pin and a 6-pin, 6-pin and a 6-pin. So I'm going to show you how this can be configured, and then we're going to stick it in Skunkworks and see whether or not it looks better before or after. I guess that's the best way to tell. All right, let's do it. Let's turn the camera. All right, so here they are right here. We got it. Well, these are graphics cards. These are the adapters right here. This is referred to as the Power Link. One of these is already open. There we go. So basically, it's a really simple device that simply does nothing but take a little bracket here. That's in there, good, geez. And then it will essentially just attach to your graphics card like that. It plugs in, and then the plugs are moved to the back of the card. So ideally, while the graphics card is in your case like this, instead of having the plugs come and wrap all the way around and have to make a 180-degree turn if they're going back through the motherboard tray, they are just going to be coming out the back and going into the motherboard tray. A couple things you want to keep in mind though immediately is one, it's going to add obviously a bit of length to your graphics card on top of the plug thickness. So you're going to be adding at least, it's about an inch thick right here to the back of the graphics card. And then of course there is the plug itself and the radius that's going to add some more length. So if you take an 11-inch card here, kind of like the 980 Ti, then you're going to be making it 12, potentially as much as 12.5 to 13 inches long. Ladies, okay, I couldn't help it. I had to. Sorry, I had to. Don't be mad. Okay, I digress. Now, they guarantee it will work with all EVGA cards. Makes sense, it's an EVGA product. They're going to make sure it's compatible with theirs. But not all PCIe power connectors on graphics cards are facing the same way. For instance, on this MSI 1063 gig right here, the power plug, the little prong that's used to latch the cable for the PCIe Express power is pointing up. So when this is in your case, a little latch is on the top. But when you look at NVIDIA graphics cards that are design reference and companies that don't flip the power plug around, that little tab is pointing down. So obviously if that was upside down, that's not going to work. And because the power on these rails are polarized, there is a positive and a negative, you cannot just flip the little plug upside down in there and plug it in. So you're going to want to look. All right, so something else you get in the box right here is the 6-pin PCIe Express power. That's because it comes pre-installed with the 2 8-pin power. There's also a manual in here somewhere. Shows you the orientation that things are supposed to go in. You should probably read that. It actually shows you how things go. There's a little screw in there to tighten it down. We don't need that because that's what this video is about. Get out of the way. And then the last thing they include is the little Allen key, which you need to tighten them down. Also too, if you're using a 10 series card or any card that only has a single PCIe Express power, you're gonna obviously be removing one of these as you're only gonna use one. So moving forward, here's what you gotta do. You need to take your little Allen key here and you've gotta remove these little rubber covers right here that are going to expose little Allen keys. If I can get this in focus here, as you can see right there, there are some little Allen keys in there, which are holding those in place. So what we need to do now is loosen these up. And I'm going to remove one of these 8-pin and replace it obviously with a 6-pin because that's what the Pascal has, the Titan X. It doesn't have 2 8-pins. Also too, as you can see, they do simply have these little prongs that there's a little rail in there. You can kind of see it there. There's a little rail. And when you loosen them up, they also can slide on the rail right there. so that you can get the width set just right. Now, because I have the 8-pin on the outside and the 6-pin on the inside, I need to swap this one to the other little rail in there. Take my 6-pin, put it in there, just like that. Now I can go ahead and plug these in, and then once I do that, they'll be able to slide. Technically, I can even do it this way. I can plug this in like first, like that, plug that in like that, and then I can line these up like this. There's that. So now I can slide, as you can see, that how I want it. So I'm going to put it flush against the back of the card, and then I'm going to tighten down these little Allen keys so they don't slide. And I'll do that on both ends. It's actually very easy. This is a very easy install. If you can turn a screwdriver, you can install this bad boy. And then when you squeeze right here, there's actually a little plastic piece that pushes down, and then you can get them off. So that's what it looks like now when it's set up properly for 980 Ti / Titan X. Boom. I thought these lit up where it says EVGA, but maybe it doesn't. So we'll be checking that. All right, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to get the other one ready to go, and then we'll switch over to Skunkworks and we'll do a before and after, and we'll let you guys be the judge. We will let you guys be the judge if a device like this really does change the aesthetics. I'm wondering if the movement, rearranging the cables is gonna be offset by this giant thing here now sitting on the end of your graphics card. So now I guess we're gonna find out. One last thing I wanna point out, since I did try it real quick just to see what would happen, is if someone was gonna try and flip this over upside down accidentally, you can't accidentally flip it upside down, because you can see in here there is the little rail system and there's a little tab right there. It's not perfectly centered, so it has to make room for the little latch to go in. So it only goes in one way. So you can't accidentally put it in upside down and blow up your card because you have the positive and negative backwards. It simply won't go in. So that's a good thing. But that's also why it won't work on cards like this where the tab is upside down. Now, I'll be honest, even though I'm a huge EVGA fan, I found this to be a little bit gimmicky when I first saw it. And I'm kind of glad I took a look at it, because I can see that it does have some practical applications in terms of just kind of keeping things neat and tidy. I do think it looks tidier with these on in Skunkworks, because the cables for Skunkworks, the way they're routed, never really kind of met the aesthetic theme of the build. And because they're black, they do not light up. I thought they had white LEDs in there, but they don't. It's just very clean. But something you have to keep in mind, though, is not only is it clean, it's now very long. So you have to make sure that the length is going to fit. Overall, on a card like this, the total length is about 13.5 inches long when you account for the radius of the bend of the cables. Now, speaking of cables, they're heavy. I have cables here that have been trained to fit in a certain position, so I'm having to retrain them right now, and they're pushing on that adapter quite a bit and causing a bit of sag. And the only thing holding this to your card is the power connectors itself. So you don't want to break the power connectors or the solder on the PCB for the connectors. So you want to be very, very careful when plugging these in. Try and support your cables as best you can so that the adapter itself is not supporting the weight of the cables. I would hate to see broken graphics card, PCI Express power slot or plugs because of you weren't careful, and as you were trying to manipulate your cables, you cracked it or bent it and then put too much fatigue on it, and then it breaks a solder point. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. But I think it looks pretty good. Skunkworks was one of those systems that was kind of, everything is square in Skunkworks. And when I had to have those cables, you know, kind of a rounded, kind of a swooping look to them, it never really met the aesthetics or the theme of the build. So I do think that this looks really nice. It does also add a little bit of bulk to it. They're kind of big. So I'm gonna leave them on for a little bit, see if I can get used to them, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, guys, that's all for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think. Remember, this is a very subjective type of product, so I'm curious as to what you guys think about it. Tell me whether you liked it before or after the install of these adapters, and sound off in the comments. Make your voices heard. Let's hear it. Is this a good product to use in terms of cable management and aesthetics, or do you guys think it just kind of made it look worse? I'm torn. We're gonna see. I'm gonna wait and see if it grows on me. Right now, I do feel like they're a little bit bulky in there. They do kind of add a, I don't know, it breaks up the lines of the graphics card a little bit, so we're just gonna wait and see. And if I don't like it, then I can just put it back. It takes a few seconds. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, I will see you in the next video.